A community responds in anger after a man is accused of sex crimes. Ottawa's AI strategy.
Organization is not about what AI is. Now it's been about what can it do for you.
How a Calgary company hopes to be part of the solution. And smooth as butter.
It's a very malleable material. It changes, it deforms, it reacts to surrounding.
The unique exhibit at a local gallery.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Ian White.
Good afternoon. An Okotoks man charged with exploitation crimes against children, including possession and accessing child sexual abuse materials, has sparked an RCMP warning to anyone thinking about vigilante justice. Tyson Fedor is live in Okotoks, and Tyson, residents there are angry and disturbed by these recent charges.
Well, Ian, this is Corey Earhart's home behind me, and it's where he's expected to reside after being released. And I've spoken to many residents along this street. Many people have been driving by and stopping to look at this home. We even tried to speak to Earhart himself, but he was not home today. Now, at this point, Corey Earhart, as mentioned, was charged yesterday with one count of possession and accessing child sexual abuse material. Earhart's home was searched here by RCMP and the Internet Child Exploitation Unit. They seized devices, arrested and charged him with one count each of those charges. Court documents showing that Earhart was released on the conditions of promising to pay $3,000. He must also remain in Alberta, reside in his Okotoks home unless given approval by a superior, and he must not go within 50 meters of any school, public swimming area, libraries, daycares, or playgrounds where children under 16 may be present. Earhart is also banned from the internet for having any devices with a camera. RCMP says it's received reports of threats and comments that people will take matters into their own hands, calling any form of vigilanteism unlawful. His home has been egged numerous times since the public found out about the charges just yesterday.
My understanding from the RCMP in our discussions is that this individual has been removed from the community. They realized that this was a danger to him, certainly, and potential actions by other individuals, which we do not want to see. Is the justice system perfect? No. But our RCMP and the alert team is doing everything they possibly can to ensure that this individual faces the justice system.
Now, the town of Okotoks did release a statement later this afternoon as well, saying that it understands that this news is unsettling and upsetting to many. It has now issued a trespass notice to Earhart at any town facility here in the community of Okotoks, and they will be taking that trespass notice very serious. Ian?
Tyson, thanks very much. Still no charges following yesterday's shooting in a Calgary park. Police were called to Connaught Park just before 4 yesterday afternoon. Paramedics say one man was taken to hospital in serious but not life-threatening condition. Police took several people in for questioning, but say none were involved in the shooting. An additional person is now in custody, and police say the investigation continues. Police say they were called to 3 separate impaired driving collisions within 3 hours last night, including this one on Deerfoot Trail. It happened around 7 in the southbound lanes near 24th Street. Police say 3 people sustained non-life-threatening injuries, including the driver who was arrested. The suspected impaired drivers in the other 2 crashes were also arrested. Alberta's Privacy Commissioner is once again raising concerns about upcoming changes to Alberta's driver's licenses. The Privacy Commissioner says morphing 3 IDs into one will bring new risks to personal information. Diane McLeod says putting personal health numbers on driver's licenses increases fraud risks. She also points out the Registrar of Motor Vehicles is not subject to privacy laws. McLeod says she has been speaking to the province about her concerns, but so far the government hasn't introduced any extra safeguards. The Privacy Commission says it's developing its own guidance for Albertans, plus one for organizations with access to health numbers and proof of citizenship. Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced the federal government's artificial intelligence strategy. The strategy is called AI for All, and it aims to create $200 billion in economic growth and 250,000 new jobs. Ottawa also says the plan will protect Canadians from the risks and harms of AI. The government will target deep fakes and surveillance pricing. Right now, 12% of Canadian businesses use AI. Ottawa wants to increase that to 60% in the next 5 years. Moses Waldu joins us with local reaction. And Moses, you heard mostly positive reviews of the plan.
That's right, Ian. Of course, Alberta trying to position itself as a leader in the AI space. And we're talking about data centers, businesses, and machine learning research. One company we talked to, called BrainToy, is from Calgary. They focus on using AI in 3 ways. AI solutions like chatbots or agents for specific tasks for businesses. There's also AI education, producing jobs that will be created with the new federal strategy. Think of a prompt engineer as a new job category. And lastly, creating their own products that can help children study, as an example. The co-founder of BrainToy also says the new policies will help ensure those using AI will come from someone certified in the field.
One thing I noticed there is they said they're going to give trusted AI certification for Canadian companies. So perhaps, at least now as a vendor, if I have that certificate, people will be interested in working with me. They will trust me more as a Canadian company to provide AI services that they require.
Now, that's one side of the discussion. We talked to a tech expert in the new AI strategy, and he says there's still some missing critical answers to problems like who's accountable if AI systems cause harm and if people can opt out of having their data used by AI systems in the future. I'll have more on that coming up at 6. Ian?
Moses, thanks very much. Fit Kids Care says the employee at the center of recent complaints is no longer working with the organization. The province says the Northwest facility has not been providing adequate supervision, was using physical restraint and punishment, and has failed to report incidents. As a result, it issued a probationary license. The company says it's fully cooperating and has enhanced staff training and additional supervision protocols. It also says it's appealing certain claims and findings. If Fit Kids Care is unable to meet provincial standards by September 2nd, the province says its license will not be reinstated. The Children's Cottage Society of Calgary held a berry special event to celebrate a name change for its crisis nursery. Families were invited to bring their favorite stuffed animals for a teddy bear picnic. The nursery is now known as Nan's Place. The name may be different, but the program remains the same. Children can be cared for up to 3 days when families are going through a hard time. There is also day respite care available when families only need help during the day.
We want to be that safety net and that safe haven that families can trust to bring their children to when they need that extra help.
Society has helped 80,000 children in its 40 years of existence. New life is being planted in some Calgary neighborhoods. The City Trees for Life and the Arbor Day Foundation are teaming up to plant 1,400 new trees this year. Half are going in Winston Heights Park. The other half will be planted in West Nose Creek Park. It's part of the city's goal to expand the urban canopy to 16%. Right now, it's below 10%. Danielle, we talk about keeping an eye on the sky, and this is one of those occasions when you probably should.
Yeah, we have the risk of funnel cloud development and larger size hail. Some of these cells already producing larger size hail. I want to show you where we have the watches and the warnings in place. And in the lighter yellow on this map, that's where we have a watch, which means this active weather is can potentially happen in these spots. But when it's darker yellow, like closer to Strathmore, we do have a cell rolling through that area that is producing some larger size hail. And closer towards Vulcan, Milo, Lomond, these areas under the risk right now because there are some cells rolling through here that are producing that. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but this is certainly one of those days to take the skies seriously. 16 degrees is the temperature right now. We did have a thunderstorm roll through Calgary. Calgary is not under a watch or a warning because yes, we have the risk of thunderstorms. We've already had one, but we're not looking at the severe criteria for this. Just some lightning and a quick little downpour. And the similar thing for tomorrow. Fog patches possible in the morning hours, 12 degrees to kick off the day, a high of 19 once again tomorrow. Getting a little windy in the afternoon with the risk of a late day thunderstorm. That's your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen. Family owned, community driven. Discover more at Fifth Avenue Volkswagen.
Thanks, Danielle. There's just something about the power of a familiar song. Still to come, the local group that's using music to trigger memories for people with dementia. And the technology that helps people with serious vision problems drive again. A double-billing Calgary doctor has been sanctioned again by the College of Physicians and Surgeons. Dr. Bruce Hoffman has received a reprimand and a $7,000 fine for unprofessional conduct after officials found he was charging insurance companies for procedures while also privately charging his patients. A tribunal also determined he breached the confidentiality of a patient, and it found a $1,000 charge for a missed appointment was unreasonable. Hoffman is the same physician who was ordered by the college to pay more than $20,000 to the estate of a former patient after double billing on 21 separate occasions. Hoffman has retired from medicine. He has appealed the latest sanctions. Some advocates for people with low vision are calling on the province to make changes to help them maintain independence. Bioptic telescope glasses are prescription lenses with mini telescopes on top. They offer a hands-free way to see distant objects up to 5 times larger when needed, while maintaining peripheral vision. Some countries and Canadian provinces allow them for driving, but telescopic visual aids can't be used to maintain an Alberta driver's license. Judy Anderson wants the province to change that. She uses the glasses to continue many of her favorite things, but since she's not allowed to use them to drive here, she had to give up the job she loved.
I'm a big picture thinker. I think of the cost of health care. If all of a sudden I need to go into assisted living, say, because I can't drive and can't do this or that, we want people to keep independent as long as possible.
A Calgary optometrist asked the province to adopt a model similar to Ontario and Quebec. They allow drivers to use the special glasses and also provide some provincial funding for the devices. Right now, Alberta patients have to cover the roughly $2,000 to $5,000 cost. The Alberta government says there's no timeline for any potential policy changes, but it is monitoring other provinces' approaches. To mark Seniors Week, Alzheimer Calgary is highlighting its music program for people living with dementia. The music program will play recorded songs or has a live performer hosting the session. Members of the group may sit still at the start, but as the music keeps playing, they begin to move with the rhythm. Alzheimer Calgary says certain songs can evoke memories from the past and bring the members joy. It has a number of music programs, and one is intergenerational.
So through our program, we do music in memory with students, and they'll talk about their favorite songs on both sides and share why those are their favorite songs. So we want people in our community to connect with the senior and their younger people to connect with the senior in their life.
We've posted more information about the music program on our website, ctvnewscalgary.ca. Oh, that is lovely to see. Okay, you mentioned funnel clouds and other serious concerns.
Funnel cloud development certainly possible with some of these cells today. Also larger size hail, medium to large size hail. Big downpours, lightning, the usual with that. Calgary, we've had some thunderstorms track through already throughout this last hour, and we have that potential for the next couple of hours until things wind down for the night. We did bump back up at the airport to 17 degrees. When these cells roll through, they cool things down pretty quick, get pretty windy, and we drop down to 15, and now we're back up to 17 degrees. Banff is at 15. We got into the 20s today, Drumheller, Brooks, Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, Milk River, and that's where we're sitting right now in the 20s still in these communities. When we look at maximum wind gusts, it was a gusty day in Lethbridge. Lethbridge will be gusty once again tomorrow, and Calgary will pick up to 40 kilometers per hour at times throughout this evening, and then tomorrow later in the day we have the risk of 40 kilometer per hour gusts once again. So nothing exceptional, but certainly on the windier side by the afternoon hours once again tomorrow. All right, this is what we need to talk about here. The severe thunderstorm watch is in place in the yellow here. That's the lighter yellow. Calgary is not included in these watches or warnings. Yes, we have thunderstorm potential, but we don't have the risk of getting severe thunderstorms where hail is the potential or any sort of funnel cloud development development. That's outside of the city, closer to Strathmore, closer to Vulcan. And I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. So Milo, Lomond, Vulcan, Strathmore, there are some cells that are tracking through these areas. I'm going to show you that on the radar here because we've had the development push off from the mountains towards QE2 and down, and where they're more severe is in these areas where we have the warnings in place. But keep in mind, while these cells are still packing a punch, they're less severe than they were just 15 minutes ago. So I'm going to pop out the lightning and show you what I mean. You can see when we have the purple producing some hail, that has since died out. So that hail core has died out of these cells, it looks like, but it's still packing a punch with big downpours, stronger wind gusts. There's still the potential rotation for the next little bit with these cells, and the one tracking south of Milo is certainly one to look at. Another cell where we don't have a warning in place just yet, but it looks like it was producing a little bit of hail closer to Watts and is tracking towards the northeast. So it should miss Hannah, but sometimes these cells spawn new cells to the south of them. So Hannah, just a heads up. Anywhere really, if you are seeing any of these cells tracking towards you, the clouds get dark, you see the lightning, these are cells to take seriously. This will be out and closer to the Medicine Hat area by 7:30 tonight, and then it'll be out of all of southern Alberta by the midnight hour. For tomorrow, just a mix of sun and cloud. Good amount of sunshine for the morning and early afternoon hours. There will be this line of showers and storms to the north of Calgary. Some of this could peek into the city later in the day tomorrow. Quick look at your weekend. Saturday, late day showers, non-severe thunderstorms possible, and Sunday will be a rainy one, and this is a significant rainfall. Nowhere near that last big system we had, but we could pick up 10 millimeters of rain on Sunday, and temperatures will cool down to 14 degrees by then.
Thanks, Danielle. People in the local tourism sector are already anticipating a big summer. Coming up, the massive increase in spending that has sparked real optimism. Once again, the markets are lifted on hope of a resolution to the conflict in the Middle East. Joining me is Liana Washniak, investment advisor with the Popwich-Karmali Advisory Group. And Liana, markets react positively to this potential easing of the conflict in the Middle East.
That's right, and not just reacting a little bit positively, we actually gained back all of the ground that we lost yesterday on most of the major indices and then some. So that was really quite a positive day. We also saw oil sell off by over $2 a barrel. So overall, kind of traders looking through this conflict again, once again thinking that this could be over in the near term and therefore trading accordingly. And so there was a lot of positivity and optimism in the market today. We did have a little bit of a negative spot in the market, and that was kind of around AI on some of the chip makers. But that was kind of the one negative spot in this overall market today, mostly pretty positive.
And Broadcom was one of those exceptions despite some pretty strong results.
That's right. And as you mentioned, very strong results in their latest quarterly earnings. In fact, they gave third quarter guidance that said that they're expecting a 200% year over year increase in their sales. So that is a major number, a major exceeding of the expectations from analysts, but not necessarily entirely up to what the market was hoping for. Broadcom was trading up fairly strongly over kind of the week run-up to the announcement of their earnings, and apparently it didn't meet with the expectations of a lot of traders who were looking for an even more outsized number. So we saw them sell off fairly heavily today, actually down over 12%.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Tourist visits and spending in Calgary are on the rise, and that's after a record-breaking year in 2025. Tourism Calgary says what stands out is recreation and entertainment spending in the city up nearly 45% year over year. The organization says that means tourists are increasingly choosing Calgary as a destination and spending more money here. Spending by international visitors increased 15% in the first quarter of this year, but the city is also seeing plenty of Canadians who are planning their travels in Canada.
The projection is for a very strong summer season on the domestic travel side. We're seeing intra and interprovincial visitation up, and we're seeing a strong appetite from Canadians to explore more of their own country. So we are anticipating a very strong summer season and really strong commanding visitor spend from the Canadian market this year.
Tourism Calgary says tourism supports more than 84,000 jobs in the city, and hotel bookings for this summer are ahead of last year's numbers. The federal government unveils its long-awaited artificial intelligence strategy. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. The plan aims to create up to 90,000 jobs and work opportunities for young Canadians. The federal government also wants to boost AI adoption among businesses. Coming up at 6, a local expert explains some security concerns about the plan. Also ahead, the latest tally on how many UCP MLAs plan to vote in favor of Alberta remaining in Canada, plus which First Nations are now threatening acts of civil disobedience. We'll see you at 6. Ian.
Thank you, Tara. We are watching a lot of active weather in southern Alberta right now, especially toward the east, toward communities like Hanna. Danielle will have the details coming up. Lots and lots going on right now, so
let's go right to the radar.
Bring us up to date.
Yeah, because there's some things. So here's a look at the storm cells. There's one tracking through Calgary non-severe. There are some decent ones that are going through the Airdrie area right now, and you can see heads up Lomond, Milo. You already have one in your area, and then as I pass over towards Hanna. This is where we're looking at a couple other cells near Hanna and Serial as well. But the one cell that I'm looking at near Hanna is looking like it's going to track northeast of the Hanna area. 17 currently in the city, 19 was our daytime high. We do have some weak thunderstorms moving through the city, and we have the same idea for the next couple of days. Late day thunderstorms possible with daytime highs in the high teens.
Thank you, Danielle. Contemporary Calgary is launching 3 new solo exhibits today, and one includes a 1,000-pound butter sculpture. Artist Ghazaleh Avarzamani made the cowboy on horseback on site. It's at the center of a giant Monopoly-inspired piece. The exhibits examine systems of power.
You get from it is the feeling that you usually get when you are following the when you watch your bank account, or when you are following the system, or even when, like, let's say Trump posts the tweet and then your heart starts beating. So it's the text is somehow relating to churning butter, but also you can translate it to churning the market.
To celebrate the launch, admission into Contemporary Calgary is free until 9 tonight. Thanks for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.